Hello guys, the F1 debate show will begin very shortly, but I thought I'd just add this little video in at the start just to basically say when we recorded this video, it was the day before Felipe Massa announced his retirement from Formula 1, so we pre-recorded this video just before he announced his retirement. Obviously we would have covered it, and if you are here to hear our opinions and stuff, it's not going to be in this video. As like I said, it was the day before, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, obviously with our schedule and stuff, we couldn't really, that was the only day we could actually record, so bit of a downer. But we are going to do a separate video about Felipe Massa's career, about his plans in the future, and just obviously look back at what a wonderful career he's had in Formula 1. So stay tuned for that as well, but enjoy the F1 debate show. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video as well. And yeah guys, here is the F1 debate show, episode 25.
Hi guys, and welcome to the F1 debate show, and in this episode we are going to be talking about some driver transfers and contract rumours as we enter the contract season on the 2016 calendar. We're also going to be talking about the comments to Max Verstappen after his actions at the Belgian Grand Prix, which was the last race. Look forward to the Italian Grand Prix, which is this race, and we are inside the weekend. And also mention the first F1 debate show giveaway. But first we're going to start with the history of the British Grand Prix, and more specifically the Silverstone circuit in England, what may or may not happen in the next few years.
Yeah, so basically, obviously you're probably thinking to yourself, hang on, why have you brought something like this into topic? Basically, this week I've seen on social media that from an anonymous source, not an official source, so obviously don't quote us on this, that there's every possibility that the British Grand Prix could be dropped in the next few years. And I mean, when I first seen this, I was like, this has to be fake. Then I seen it from another two anonymous sources, and I'm thinking, what if like people from from the outside of the media actually have overheard this from somewhere, and now they could be literally in talks now to actually drop this from the calendar. I mean, how catastrophic would this be to Formula 1 if we were to lose the British Grand Prix? Now, I don't know exactly, say if this does come into the media's perspective, I don't know if it's going to be that Silverstone is going to be removed and British Grand Prix will be hosted by another track, or they're going to scrap it altogether. Now, as I've been saying, I did say this when we previewed Italy, when we talked about Italy before, that that tracks like that, the big four, Monaco, Belgium, Italy and Silverstone, should never ever be removed from the calendar. It doesn't matter the circumstances. It's history, it's the classics really. And Britain Silverstone is classic upon classic, because that's where the first ever Formula 1 race was held on the 30th of May in 1950.
Yeah.
And to remove the Silverstone from there would be bad. But if they replace it with another track, then fair enough. I mean, because they've done it before. They did it at Brands Hatch in the 80s and 90s and stuff, and you know, people have got it through then, so I mean, why not now? But Brands Hatch is a small circuit, you can get around it in like about a minute or so, so
Yeah.
Formula 1 cars, they're not going to suit that type of track. I mean, Donington, I'm not too sure about Donington, but they could consider that, perhaps maybe like revamp it or something like that, so it's under FIA rules and, you know, up to standards. But I mean, just be even talking about like, possibility of getting rid of the British Grand Prix, this will be the worst disaster ever in Formula 1. The ratings would drop, fans would just say, what's the point if you're getting rid of races like that and going to places like Azerbaijan, for example? Because I seen a picture where it was 30 minutes before the start of the European Grand Prix, the stands weren't even full. And at the Belgian Grand Prix, about 2 hours before the start, the stands were full. And it just proves how races like, you know, Italy, Monaco and Belgium, obviously, that just how much support that they have of the classic circuits, because they love Formula 1, and trying to go to other countries where there's just money involved, it's just not going to happen. And Silverstone probably brings up one of the most incomes in Formula 1, so why get rid of it? But obviously, and then again, if Silverstone can't afford it, then there's no point in it, then, is there? In Bernie's world, but in our world, it should remain there. Yeah. So, LC, what's your opinion on this? I mean, we shouldn't even be discussing this at all. But I mean, it's just something that's just brought our attention, isn't it?
It just comes back to money runs Formula 1, which is obviously something that we don't like to believe. I mean, as I say in all the other videos, obviously there's only 4 tracks in Europe that have been around since the start of Formula 1 in 1950, which is Spa, Monaco, Monza, and obviously Silverstone in the British Grand Prix. Yes. And I mean, obviously the British Grand Prix has been running obviously since 1950 every single year. It's got such a heritage in Formula 1. Obviously Great Britain as a nation has a massive heritage in Formula 1. But I think this has got to be, I think the biggest indication that this is probably real is when you look at something like, well, when Monza and the Italian Grand Prix not so much the Italian Grand Prix, but Monza, the circuit, is under threat of being scrapped. Now, obviously, Monza's been around since 1950, and also there's such a massive pedigree from Italy, as you know. That's when we start to believe it. And that is ridiculous. That means, obviously, when we saw this statement, it means that money runs Formula 1. There's not enough money coming out of Monza, so that's going to be gone. Even though they don't really care about what the fans think or what the team think or anything like that. If Silverstone goes, it'll be just a massive blow to everyone. I mean, especially us as well, JT. We went in 2016. I mean, obviously, of course, it would be, if we went, if this was the last year of the run-ins, at least it would, at least we could say we were at the last
exactly
Grand
we were
Prix.
at the last Grand Prix. Yeah.
Obviously, that would have been, for example, like Monza. It might not be on the calendar next year. It might go up north to Imola. If you're at Monza this year, then you can say that you were part of the last Monza Grand Prix at Monza. But obviously, we don't want to see that. It's just going to be ridiculous, JT. And also, using Imola as an example, if it went to Brands Hatch or Donington, it would still be great. But Silverstone circuit is now adapted to Formula 1. Obviously, they made renovations. As you know. Obviously, opened the brand new concourse, which costs, I think it was X millions of pounds, and obviously it was a massive project. So just everything about it. And do you know what I think? I know obviously this is an official Formula 1 source, but no, I don't think it will do. I hope it doesn't. Obviously, the teams won't, the fans won't. I mean, who doesn't like the Silverstone Grand Prix or the race at Silverstone? Who would actually stand up and say I don't want it? Well, there's one man who would, and that's Bernie Ecclestone. If he isn't getting enough money, if enough of this isn't going into his wallet, then of course he's not going to do it. That's why he's bringing in obviously tracks like your Abu Dhabi's, Singapore's, Baku. I'm not sure how much they'll be bringing in, but obviously as a new infrastructure like that. Obviously, a country where oil refinery is big, that's money. If Silverstone goes, I think I think will happen, JT. If Silverstone goes, I think many fans will go.
Definitely.
Obviously, I know all you have to do is just turn over the telly, but that's enough to, I think losing Silverstone is enough for people to go. Well, a lot of British people just think, well, okay, hang on a minute. We've got a three-time world champion going on to 4. We've got Jenson and Jolyon. We'll always have multiple British Formula 1 drivers all the time, so we'll always have that, and we'll always have a heritage. Obviously, as you know, there's loads of teams based over here. There's absolutely loads. I think there's probably I think it's like, apart from Toro Rosso, Ferrari, Haas, and Sauber, I think every other team apart from obviously Ferrari, apart from those, are based in England or have a base in England. As you know, obviously Mercedes, Red Bull, Force India have a factory just outside Silverstone.
Exactly.
Which obviously everyone wanted to stay, but it just comes back to that point, JT, that if we lose Silverstone, I don't think we'll lose Britain. I think they'll move it to another place if this will happen. But if they lose Silverstone, they'll lose fans. Fans will just go, right, what's on? It's even if it's like the Coronation Street omnibus. They'll put that on a Sunday morning. They'll watch that on like ITV4.
You don't watch Coronation Street.
Then the race, and then we'll lose coverage. And obviously, no one will watch Formula 1 if this happens. And obviously, we still will, I still will, and you still will. And the F1 debate will still be running, but it just won't be very special. And obviously, guys, that means that we won't have any F1 British Week, JT. Which obviously, if you remember, that was amazing, wasn't it?
It was the most successful week in F1 history.
It was. You can't get more successful. But
we will try next year. Yeah, maybe the year after that, if it's still on the calendar. Anyways, but I was just thinking like loads of times beforehand about there's circuits such as South Korea, what's the other one? India as well. That's another one. He went there just because of money wise. They're trying to bring in more support from the Far East and everything, and it just never worked because we haven't been to Korea since 2013. I think was the last time we were there.
Yeah, so was India.
And India as well. We only had that for 2 years. I think we had South Korea for 4, for 4 seasons rather.
Yeah.
And where are they now? Because why? Because not enough people were going there. The first race, yes, of course, because it's a new thing. Like Formula 1, what's that? Let's go and watch. And then the second time, people's like, I went there last year. There's nothing special there. There's no history. Like fans like me and LC, we wouldn't consider going to India or South Korea because why? Why? We had to watch Formula 1, but not. You go to places like Belgium, Monaco, and Britain just for the history.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, I went there.
Exactly.
I mean, circuits for like as an exception, such as Canada, that's been on there for a while. Australia as well, Malaysia. Tracks like that They don't have history,
Yeah.
but they've made themselves present in Formula One,
Yeah, exactly.
not because of money. And tracks like Azerbaijan, I mean, it's a beautiful city, but I wouldn't want to go there. I mean, Singapore, that's a beautiful city. I wouldn't want to go there for a Grand Prix. There's no history to them Grand Prix, so why add them there just for nothing and
exactly.
get rid of tracks such as Monza?
Well, especially if they're going to replace the history tracks
I
they
don't
just
want
said, JT. It's fine. Obviously, there's two sides of Formula One now. There's the history side and there's the new side. Obviously, the best one, is Abu Dhabi. I think that's the track that's just taken off. But
Yeah.
obviously, if Formula One just becomes, say, like 21 races of just new tracks, then that's going to be ridiculous.
There's
It
gonna
needs
be
the
no-
old ones.
there's gonna
And
be nothing.
use an example. In 2014, when the German Grand Prix went, obviously Germany has a massive heritage with Formula One. Obviously, they have 12 world championships. Obviously, in Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher in the past. They've had many German drivers, obviously German companies, Mercedes in Formula One. When we lost that in 2014, that was unbelievable, and Germany just took a hit. And if anything, when in 2015, am I getting this right? No, it's 2015. Sorry, when they lost it. Yeah. So this year, sorry about that, guys. It's 2015. So in this year, in this German Grand Prix, the grandstands were empty on Saturday qualifying and during the race. They actually on turn 1, they actually boarded up the whole grandstands with Rolex signs, and they did that. Well, ask yourself why they did that. You scrapped Germany in 2015, okay, for no reason whatsoever. So obviously Germany, who's got a massive pedigree, was just motorsport in general. Obviously they've got the Nürburgring, obviously probably the most famous circuit in the world.
Yeah.
They've got such a massive pedigree with motorsport in general. So you scrap that from one of the biggest automotive countries in the world, and then you put a Grand Prix like you have one and then missing, and then another one. You put one more year after, like almost like we're going to give you another chance. And you ask people, well, why aren't you turning up to that event? Well, it's like that. So it's because Germany were like almost, like made just push back and forth between Formula One, and they didn't really know what they wanted. And Silverstone, if they get rid of that, then if they bring it back in a few years' time, it's going to show that Formula One doesn't really care about the heritage. It's more about the money and stuff like that. Because I'll tell you, that's probably a big reason why why the attendance in Germany dropped so much this year.
Yeah, exactly. Why, just Bernie? Listen, Lewis. Right, listen. If you're watching this, just keep it. Just keep all four races. Leave them alone and just fill up with the other ones because nobody's really that fussed unless you're from that country. Obviously,
Yeah, exactly.
you love Formula One. But I mean, you can't lose them, especially Silverstone. You can't. You just can't.
Silverstone was the very first Grand Prix in, as you said, JT, in Formula One. I mean, that's a massive thing. That's that's made history. Everywhere. It's almost like they remembered the first flight. Obviously, you remember when the Titanic first sailed. You remember the first flight of Concorde. Yeah. All these major events, and you remember where they're from, and you remember the history about them. And when you remember the first ever Formula One Grand Prix, it was 1950, won by Nino Farina. Where was it? Silverstone. And where's Silverstone? Great Britain, i.e. the British Grand Prix. So you're going to be taking that out of Formula One. You're going to, yeah. So basically, it's like saying the first place that ever hosted a Formula One event isn't in Formula One anymore. It's just, and we're also talking about Monza as well, guys. Obviously, because Monza's under threat next year of not being on the calendar.
Yeah.
And this is almost like a save Monza as well, and save Silverstone. And it also works hand in hand as well because, as JT said, there's probably still going to be a British Grand Prix like there is an Italian Grand Prix. But if they move Britain to, say, Brands Hatch or Donington, and they move they move the Italian Grand Prix to Imola, yes, they're good tracks. Yes, they've been on before. Yes, they've got good history. They've got remembered history. Let's just say remembered, obviously, for Imola.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be good, but they're just not going to be as great and stuff like that. And if you're worried about money, of course, it's going to just drop for Brands Hatch, because I'll tell you something, JT. If I turn around to you and said, right, okay, what Grand Prix? Something like, we're going to go to a Grand Prix next year, but I know which one. I really want to go to Brands Hatch. And you'll be going, oh well, there's better Grand Prix to go after. There's Spa, there's stuff like, obviously there's Monaco. We try to do that. I mean, me and JT, when we come back from Silverstone, we were talking about going to another Grand Prix. We were like, we want to do the four big ones in Europe, and then hopefully when we get all of the ones in the big ones in the world, like Suzuka, Sao Paulo, tracks like that. But obviously, as soon as Monza went and Imola came on the scene, I mean, JT even just said to me, before I could breathe, he said, no, we're not going to Imola, just no history. It has history, but it's no Monaco, and that's the same as Brands Hatch. They would just be no way. So they need to keep those two tracks. They need to keep Silverstone and they need to keep Monza. I'm just hoping that, obviously, as you know, the Italian Grand Prix, hopefully Sunday's race, I hope that can just show Formula 1 and show Bernie that there is a future at Monaco. And I don't even know why I didn't see that, because obviously Silverstone, we were there, JT, we knew what a great turnout it was. I mean, it was 140,000 fans. That is unbelievable. And that's probably one of the highest attendance races. I mean, I don't know which one's the highest, but it's just unbelievable. And also,
it is one of them, yes. But as like you said, I don't know who has the highest. But I probably like something like Monza or something.
Monza,
you know what I mean?
Spa was unbelievable.
Exactly. It's the longest, so it's always decent turnout. But so basically, the moral of this segment is just don't get rid of any of them races, please.
Exactly.
Right, but
exactly. Right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Max Verstappen. Now, obviously, as you know, Max Verstappen did that move on the inside of Kimi Räikkönen into turn 1, La Source, at the Belgian Grand Prix. And they have been almost openly criticising Max Verstappen, saying that it was a stupid move, it was a rookie move. Not like real insults or anything like that, but obviously it has sparked the paddock. And now, firstly, obviously, I believe that it wasn't even his fault at all. The person to blame, I actually would say, was Sebastian Vettel. So not Max Verstappen at all, but they have been criticising him. Now, it was in the Autosport Journal, it said that they should be ashamed of themselves for calling Max out. Absolutely unbelievable things. Obviously, Seb also has it in his head that Red Bull are after him. Obviously, with the two collisions that he had earlier on in the year, obviously in China with Daniel Kvyat, and then also in Russia when he obviously was caught, clipped twice by Daniel, and then went spinning off. So he has a real problem with them. Now, they're almost like ganging up on Max, which is not good. And yes, obviously they have a real problem with them. Sebastian Vettel actually spoke to Christian Horner after the race. Nothing was said what they had said, but obviously you can imagine, JT, that it was a bit like what Seb said to Christian Horner in China, which is, that's a rookie, get him out. And it's just narcissistic. It's just not right. And obviously, obviously it was a bit of a reckless move, but I just don't think that they should be calling him out like that, JT. Obviously 2 Ferraris as well, you're ganging up on him.
Exactly.
So what do you think of this?
In a way, it's almost like psychological bullying in a way, but obviously not as bad. But I mean, let's not forget, Max Verstappen is still kind of a rookie in a way, because this is only his second season in Formula 1. He's only 18 years old. He's got a lot to learn still in Formula 1. People's just assuming that he's this whiz kid that knows everything about Formula 1. He's not. He still needs to learn the ins and outs, and this is the only way he's going to learn. I'll take, for example, Romain Grosjean, for example, right? I mean, yes, obviously he wasn't to become the best thing since Michael Schumacher, but when he came into Formula 1 the first time round, he was a bit, crashing in everyone. He
was Belgium 2012.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. He came back into Formula 1 and he got criticised because of, that he was under a lot of pressure, especially from Lotus as well, at the team at the time. And the pundits as well just pointing the finger at him all the time. And pretty much Belgium 2012 was the icing on the cake. That was like, now Lotus probably considering, do we keep or get rid of Grosjean? So they gave the benefit of the doubt. They had a one race ban in Italy, came back in Singapore, a fresh new guy, and pretty much since then he has improved. 2013 had a good season. 2014, obviously bad car, but he improved. 2015 was a very good season for him, and then this season he's gone to Haas, and he's excelled. He's become a respected Formula 1 driver. Remember, he's still learning. Just because he was 22, 23 or something, that's still a young age. And yes, he has been in Formula 1 before, but that's not to say that he doesn't. He still knows everything about Formula 1. Max Verstappen has to learn the hard way, and this is testing him in a way. If it's going to be a good thing, if he can cope with the pressure from the media, if he can cope from pressure from comments from other drivers like Seb and Kimi, and if he can cope with the demands of of high expectations because of how talented he is. And I believe he can, and I hope he does. I hope this doesn't get to his head. He just needs to keep calm, get the job done, focus on beating his rivals and stuff, come back in the next race stronger, better, and obviously give him time on the simulator and stuff. But obviously, like I said, he's 18 years old, and there is a lot to learn from Max Verstappen. A lot to learn in Formula 1, so I'm pretty sure that this is just a little one over, and I think he'll blow over quite quickly, move on to the next race. He'll be he might give the Ferraris a bit more room when they're coming to overtake him, but I'm pretty sure that we'll see the fight in Max Verstappen like we normally do. You know what I mean? Like that is the type of style he is, the type of aggressive style he is. But that's pretty much what it is for Max Verstappen wise. But someone else that we're just going to briefly mention as well is I think this guy's been mentioned in contract terms for the past 3 to 4 seasons now. Is Jenson Buttons. Now, obviously, McLaren announced this week that it's going to be about this Grand Prix, actually, the Italian Grand Prix, where they're actually going to sit down and consider who is going to partner Fernando Alonso in 2017. Now, this is a bit of a throwback a couple of years, and this is the same situation when they had in 2014. Fernando Alonso, it wasn't confirmed, but everybody knew he was going to McLaren, and who was going to partner him. Was it going to be K-Mag, or was it going to be Jenson Buttons? And obviously, luckily for Jenson, he got chosen for 2015. And then about this point last season, he announced that he was staying with McLaren for another year, so it was quite early, which was absolutely fantastic. Now this season, it's pretty much like 2014, except it's not K-Mag they've got to choose, it's Stoffel Van Dorn, who in my opinion is a better driver. He's tipped for better things. He's already raced this season once, scored McLaren's first points of the season, just only 1 point. But let's not forget, this is a McLaren Honda who scored a point in only the second race of the season. So, you know, he's done well. He's a talented driver, tipped for many things. He's currently in Super Formula in I think it's Japan at the moment. He's raced for them. Obviously, McLaren test driver. So obviously he's going to be considered. So it's either going to be him or Jenson Buttons. And should Jenson, leave, I believe I don't know where he would go. He's considered, go with Mark Webber. He's considered going was it Rallycross? I think it is. He was doing. So there's loads of options out there for Jenson Buttons, but he was saying something about when the rules came in 2017 that he would like to have a go, have another bash, and see what they're like. And that's given us a lot of hints that he could stay in Form 1. I think he hinted recently that I think he said something like he has considered staying, but he's also had a look at other options, and he kind of knows where to go should he lose his seat. But in my opinion, I think he will have his seat for 1 more year. I think next season is going to be his last, because in his head he's going, right, the rules change next year, and he'll be looking at Honda's plans for next year and go, you know what, if they give me this package, I can deliver easily. But then also McLaren could be thinking, well, you've had your time, let's give Stoffel a chance, and let's see in the new rules, new car, new driver. They could also think like that. But in my opinion, I think McLaren would stick with Jenson. I think they would consider Jenson, but if he does, this will be Jenson's last year in 2007, which is a bit of a shame. But that obviously he has to go at some point. It's been in Formula 1 for 16 years, celebrating his 300th Grand Prix very soon. So very excited about that. So
stay tuned for that.
Exactly. So Jenson Buttons contract talks yet again with McLaren this weekend. Obviously nothing will be announced, but obviously we'll probably have a bit more of a light as to who McLaren would go with. I mean, who do you think they would go with, LC?
No, I'm really not sure now. Obviously, when we went to Silverstone, remember there was talks from Claire Williams and Rob Smedley that Jenson might go to Williams. But in terms of McLaren, obviously he's comfortable in that team. He always has been. Now, I've got to say it was strange because they signed Fernando Alonso around Monaco time, and Jenson's been left out in the dark, and it's almost been the same. Obviously, 2013. Obviously 2012 when the departure of Lewis, Jenson was a bit unsure where he was going. 2013 obviously was Checo and Jenson. He was a bit more secure there. So you said JT 2014. I remember that kind of worry in Jenson's eyes every time he went for an interview. And obviously there was one with Martin Brundle that he could almost not walk. His leg was just shaking. Well, am I going to be in Formula 1 next year, or is K-Mag going to partner obviously Fernando Alonso, who I want to partner? It was the same last year, and it's the same this year. He's been almost just chucked around by McLaren. They need to do something quickly, but they need to do basically what Jenson wants. I think that's what they do. I think that's why he's comfortable in the team. Now it really depends what he wants. In my opinion, I think he should go to Williams.
I'll let him in Formula 1. I'll let him in F1 still.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think there's a Jenson in Formula 1 after Jenson's departure. I think you're probably looking about Kimi, and then once Kimi goes, we're in the new breed of Formula 1. I mean, obviously all the old, obviously and Fernando as well.
Fernando,
sorry, Kimi and Fernando, yeah.
I mean,
and then obviously once they go,
like when Massa, Alonso, and all them go, then you've got Sebastian Vettel, who's kind of like he's stepping up to the mark, and you're like, hang on, I remember when he was just a young rookie at Red Bull.
Vettel and Hamilton are probably the oldest.
Exactly.
Will be
Hamilton
the oldest in that. Sorry?
I was agreeing with you there. I forgot about Hamilton as well. Like those two would be like the eldest in Formula 1 would be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? That'd be absolutely crazy, absolute craziness.
But I'm really not sure. It would be great to see Jenson stay at McLaren, but obviously he wants to be in the winning car, and they're not at the moment. It just depends. I mean, it's quite strange to say that Fernando signed for them so early on. You know, he didn't even give them a chance. He didn't even wait to see if they would get any better, and they haven't really. I mean, they've been fluctuating, but obviously they're not at what the level Fernando wants anymore. Yeah. But Fernando's quite a strange driver. He almost seems like he wants to take the back foot now. You know, he's had his 2 world championships. He's happy with that. He's stepping back. But Jenson, he's very much forward. Yeah. Obviously, he had his World Championship after Fernando in 2009, which is still quite fresh. You know, it's not ages ago, and he wants something in Formula 1, and that's the big thing. He wants to stay in Formula 1. So I think retirement, and I think like other formulas and other style of racing are out for a good few years. I think Jenson wants to stay in Formula 1 and achieve so much, and achieve what he can. But yeah, it'd be great to see. Obviously, we'll be making our 2017 drive predictions and our silly season part 2 later on in the season, when we get more news about what's happening with driver transfers and things like that. But we're definitely getting into the interesting season, JT. I love this. It's obviously deadline days on your football and sport and events. It's like that. It's like what's going to happen and things like that, which is really exciting. So the last thing we're going to mention in this F1 debate show is a very special thing, JT, and that is the F1 Debate Show's first ever giveaway.
First ever giveaway, guys. There we go.
Which is really special. Now, what we are giving away, which you might have seen on the Facebook page, is a 2016 Sahara Force India cap. There it is there. Obviously, it's in a bit of terrible light, but there we are. Bought at Silverstone in the Force India stand, worth around £30, and obviously... so £30, you're probably looking about €35 and nearing $40. So obviously, yeah, if you want to get your hands on this, make sure that you share this video. So our F1 debate show, if you please share this video on Facebook, you'll be able to find the link just in your URL wherever you're watching this, on your computer or device. Just share the video on Facebook with your friends, and make sure to like and then comment what will be underneath this video, which is the hashtag F1 Debate Show. And then to do this, make sure that you get the word out about us, and then we will be choosing our winner very soon. So everybody, very good luck. It's obviously very special. No exceptions, obviously. So wherever you live, you still have everyone's in the running for it, and obviously, good luck to everyone, really. So just make sure you like, comment, and share the video, which I'm sure everyone shares our videos normally. That's really it, guys. So thank you very much for watching this F1 debate show. If you haven't already, please go and check out our Monaco Italian Grand Prix preview, which came out on Thursday, and then obviously also the race tomorrow, and then after the race will be the review of the 2016 Italian Grand Prix, which should be great. Obviously there'll be loads of questions to answer, and the big thing is there's only a 9-point gap between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. But also, guys,
don't forget, I'm going to be doing another live session during the race as well, just like I did last time as well. About half an hour before the race starts, I'll go live again. Post your comments, post your opinions as well. And I had fun last time, so I'll do it again. I'll do it again this time for the Italian Grand Prix.
Exactly, guys. So obviously, I hope you enjoyed JT's broadcast. It was good. Obviously, just keep you in the loop. Obviously, it's just someone to talk to before the race, which is really good. Also, you just leave your comments, leave your questions underneath his video. Also, as well, what thing I want to mention, obviously, is our fans out there. What do you want to see on the videos? What kind of videos do you want us to do? What kind of videos do you want us to discuss? Is there a topic, certain person, a certain track, something that you want us to talk about? So obviously, leave your comments down in the comment section below. Obviously, I hope you enjoy the Italian Grand Prix weekend, and we will see you in the review. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.